So the authors would most likely agree with which statement. So we want to find the common ground between these two passages, even if they don't agree on everything that they say. So we'll just read them both. So the live music festival business is growing in event size and genre variety. With so many consumer options, organizers are finding ways to cement festival attendance as a special experience worth sharing. So basically to make it an experience worth sharing. This phenomenon is linked to the growing experiential economy, where many find it gratifying to purchase lived experiences. To ensure a profitable event, venues need to consider the overall consumer experience, not just the band lineup. Okay, so here I'm just going to underline these three words, overall consumer experience, because it kind of captures the gist of what this passage seems to be emphasizing in terms of experiencing. So it's more than just the music, it is the experience. So what would the second author say relative to that? Music festival appearances are becoming a more important part of musicians' careers. One factor in this shift is the rising use of streaming services that allow access to huge numbers of songs for a monthly fee, subsequently reducing sales of full-length albums. With this shift in consumer behavior, musicians are increasingly dependent on revenue from live performances. Okay, so the main ideas of these passages are different. So I'm going to underline it because I think this is the main idea. That musicians are increasingly dependent on revenue from live performances, which would include music festivals. But if we step back and look at something that these two passages have in common, I think it's just the idea that the live music festival business is growing. Music festivals are becoming more important. So they're important for the audiences and for the musicians. Music festivals growing in importance for audience and musicians. Okay. So it's going to be even more general than that. It's going to be A. Changing consumer behaviors are leading to changes in music-related businesses. Okay, so what are these changes? Certainly the music festival business growing, but also streaming, which means lower sales of albums, full-length albums, etc. So those are changes. And so this, I think, is a good reminder that, when you are looking for a point of agreement between two otherwise sort of different passages, it's probably going to be something fairly general as opposed to something really narrow or specific. Like B, for example, is pretty narrow and specific. Customers or consumers are more interested in paying subscription fees than in attending. No, it doesn't. Neither one of them says that, let alone both of them agreeing on it. No. C, the rising consumer demand for live music festivals also generates higher demand for music streaming platforms. Nope. Only one of them even talks about music streaming platforms, and it doesn't say that one generates demand for the other. And then D, consumers' growing interest in purchasing experiences is mostly confined to the music industry. Well, no. I think the first author links it to a broader phenomenon. So I think the first author would say that it's not mostly confined to the music industry, and then the second author doesn't say anything whatsoever about that. So that leaves us with this fairly general, broad answer, but it's the only one that's broad enough to accurately encompass the two passages, at least in terms of something that the authors would be likely to agree on.